Hey guys, I'm gonna keep this short, but if you aren't already aware, I started a GoFundMe. Why am I doing this now? What could I possibly need money for? I'd like to be able to pay my actors. I'd also like an easier time editing. But in order to do that, I need your help. The link will be down in the description below. I'll be running this ad for a little while. And if you can't donate, I would greatly appreciate just you sharing it with people. Get the word out there. Let's make this the best horror podcast on the internet. Thanks. You can really talk to the dead? Yes, I am able to communicate with the other side. It's my wife. Can you talk to my wife? I can certainly try. Yes, I am establishing a connection. It seems your wife has an important message for you. What is it? She wants you to know that Anchor.fm is the easiest way to make a podcast. What? Anchor has all the tools that you need to get started. You can record directly in the app, monetize your podcast through ads. It even distributes to multiple listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. Are you being serious right now? It's everything you need in one place, and best of all, Anchor is completely free. This has to be a joke, right? I'm losing the connection. She has one last thing to say. Download the Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started. Yeah, I'm gonna want my money back. That's probably fair.
This podcast contains subject matter that may be disturbing to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
For imprints one.
It's time to open the door in your mind. Sit back and listen to true horror. But be careful what you allow in. Because it's time to go through the fog. This week's story is The First Taste is Free, posted by user Ruse85 to r/short scary stories. Where do you think it came from? Simon caressed the trunk of the tree as he studied it, looking for an answer. I'm not sure. It definitely wasn't here last week. They stood there, taking in the tree's magnificent beauty. The leaves of the tree glowed a luminescent green, and its branches heaved high into the sky as if it was alive and breathing. The tree was like no other in the forest, and the only clue to its mysterious origins was a note in the pocket of a pair of torn jeans found next to the tree. What do you think it means? Asked Simon as he handed Andy the note. There is no future. Sounds like a warning. Simon continued to study the tree when suddenly the bark at the base of the trunk burst open, and a ruby-red liquid began bleeding out. Simon scooped a drop up on his finger and put it to his lips. The heavenly sweet taste of the sap lit his taste buds on fire, sending a warm buzz down his spine, back up to his brain. Simon's eyes suddenly blacked over as he slipped into a trance. Simon's perception of time and reality melted away. Suddenly, he was looking in on himself, talking to Andy by the tree until the image faded, and he was grounded back in reality. You need to try some. It's bloody amazing. Andy ran his hand under the flowing sap and scooped it into his mouth. As Simon watched Andy guzzle down the sweet tree sap, a feeling of déjà vu washed over him. I've seen this happen already, he thought to himself. Andy had a blissful smile on his face as he came out of the trance. What did you see? Asked Simon. I've seen what was going to happen tomorrow. They fell to their knees, gorging themselves on the sap. The more they drank, the further and further they went. They tried walking away from the tree with the years of knowledge, but their bodies craved the sweet, heavenly tree sap. They spent days drinking the sap and went hundreds of years into the future until the sweet taste of the sap started turning sour. Suddenly, the vision to the future became bleak and dark until there was no more future to see. The luminous glow of the leaves began to dim as the sap dried up. Simon and Andy's bodies started shaking uncontrollably. The intense craving sent them into a ravenous state as they hacked at the dying tree for any remnants of sap. As the tree withered and died before their eyes, a sudden sharp pain shot through their bodies. Horrific screams of agony rang out through the forest as tree branches sprouted from Simon and Andy's eyes. The animals they were there to hunt stood and watched as they turned into big, sprawling, luminous trees. And the only remnants of Simon and Andy were their rifles and torn clothes. Through the Fog is recorded and edited by Haptic. Produced by Flyover State Park and Kevin Caravan. All stories are recorded with the original author's permission or released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. For more episodes, visit throughthefogcast.com or follow fog_cast on Twitter. Links to both are in the show notes. You can support the show by visiting buymeacoffee.com/throughthefog or simply by rating and reviewing on your podcatcher of choice. It's the simplest way to support independent shows like these. Whatever you decide to do, though, thank you for listening, and talk to you next week.
This is Flyover State Park. You are clear to land.